I didn't shut down anything.
I recommended to the president that we shut the country down. And the only way to do that is by draconian means of essentially shutting down a country. We know that we can do that if we shut down.
Well, I think one of the things you really need to do, to the extent that you can shut down temporarily the country, I think is important.
Hey, gang, it's me, Dr. Steve. And, I think it's safe to say that we all share a very common concern over seeing government agencies that are meant for protecting the people in cahoots with wealthy corporations that quote, influence their decisions, right? When these agencies start letting money drive their decisions, well, I mean, obviously our best interests, what's in the best interest of the consumer no longer matters. And to make matters even worse, there's the issue of the revolving door, between the FDA and big pharma, where billionaires and bureaucrats are increasingly becoming undiscernible from one another. The unethical alliance between the FDA and big pharma has become so obvious that Republican lawmakers are starting to get fed up finally, right? In a recent move, Ohio Senator J.D. Vance and Arizona Representative Debbie Lesko have introduced, now see if you could follow along, the Fixing Administration's Unethical Corrupt Influence Act. The acronym spells out Fauci, okay? This is the Fauci Act to prevent federal health officials from cashing in on the industries they regulate after leaving public service. So this would keep people like Anthony Fauci, for example, from leaving government service and then profiting off of the drugs he helped pass as a bureaucrat. Thankfully, a number of courageous patriots are standing up to fight against these shenanigans, and we're going to explore exactly what you and I can do to help redistribute that power back to the people. One of our own patriots and sponsors, Black Forest Supplements, is actually currently fighting the evil tactics of the pharmaceutical industry with their own product, NMN. You've heard me talk about NMN before. I use it. I love it. It's an awesome supplement that promotes the body's ability to age well, to keep your metabolism functioning correctly, and regenerate muscle. And for the next 48 hours, Black Forest Supplements is offering our audience a buy one bottle, get one free for NMN just by clicking on the link below. You can't afford to miss that opportunity while NMN is still available to us and not in the hands of big pharma. Founder and CEO Antonio Colmenares is here to talk about Black Forest taking on big pharma, as well as expand on why NMN is necessary for proper aging and health. So welcome, Antonio. Great to have you here, my friend.
Steve, pleasure to be here. I love the show and eager to get to these topics because I feel they're critical for your audience.
Yeah, and I love talking with you even just before we, hopefully we can get a little bit of your bio and your background story because it's really amazing and wonderful. But yeah, let's just start off. What do you think of this recent introduction of the Fauci Act? And do you see it impacting the fight against big pharma?
Well, I want to start off with a brief background. I'm sure people are going to wonder where my name is from. I'm Venezuelan, moved to the U.S. legally at 13 because obviously we lived under a dictatorship. My father was a very well-to-do businessman, and they took all of his companies and made them public. So we moved to the U.S., and I'm here to try and fight communism because I am a victim of communism and I don't want anybody else to undergo something similar. Regarding what Debbie Lesko is doing, I feel like it's a great initiative. Obviously, I don't even know why it even happened before. How do we allow government officials to just pass a drug and then go and become millionaires in a board of a company?
Yeah.
It's a great initiative, but coming from Venezuela, knowing how corruption works, corruption is always 2 steps ahead of legislation. So let's say they can't employ the official himself, they could employ the son or the wife or the third cousin, and they could circumvent stuff like this fairly easily. So I feel that it's important that we tackle corruption at the root I don't know what we need to do per se, but that's just how I feel coming from such a corrupt and communist country.
And it's so interesting. You're on the front lines of this in two directions, not just one. You dealt with it yourself in Caracas, and now you're dealing with it with your own company here with the FDA. What is the deal with the FDA and NMN? Let's see. Can I remember? Is it nicotinamide mononucleotide?
Mononucleotide.
Not
But you're almost there.
mononucleotide. I
You're almost
almost
there.
got there. Almost got there. Not
you're
bad. Not bad. There
you're
you go.
almost there.
It's you made it easy. NMN. That's what it is. So
Exactly.
what's the deal with the FDA? Why do they not want NMN in the hands of the American people?
It's not necessarily that they don't want it in the hands of the American people, but they want it in the hands of the American people after they've gone through the big pharma paywall, as I like to call it. After
nice. I like
they've had to go to their doctor and ask for a prescription. So what happened here basically is this guy in Harvard called Dr. David Sinclair. He started studying this very powerful compound called NMN, which is a derivative of vitamin B. It can be found in nature, avocados, tomato, broccoli, obviously in very little amounts. So you have to create a supplement in order to benefit from it. But this guy, Dr. David Sinclair, found out that this compound was revolutionary. He started studying it on animals at first. I don't know if you could pull up a picture of a mouse that took NMN versus a mouse that didn't, but there were biological twins and the change was incredible. One had white hair and the other one was perfectly fine. And he started seeing this, then he started testing it on humans. What goes on here is that NAD plus, which is critical for the functioning of all of our 37 trillion cells, it declines as we age. So with NMN, it is an NAD plus precursor. So once you take it, it becomes NAD plus in the body. And if those NAD plus levels are stable as you age, cells don't degrade so easily. Hence, you have more energy, you're more active, you age better. Once he started seeing this, he developed a company called Metro Biotech. And Metro Biotech is the one that's trying to monopolize NMN. They want to call it MIB626, put it behind the big pharma paywall. Now, if you want to buy NMN, you have to go to your doctor. They could price it up as much as they want. So it's so revolutionary and so good that they're willing to spend hundreds of millions of dollars to take away the free market from NMN.
Right. All for our safety, of course, right?
Yes.
All for our safety and security. That's right. Yeah, what is it they'll say? They'll cry security, safety, whatever it is, right? So how is this alliance, between the FDA and Big Pharma? It does seem they work together in this. How has that already impacted the accessibility of NMN?
What this all started with a supplement called NAC, which was for brain health. They tried to do the same thing, but Now Company, I think it's like the biggest supplement company in the US, actually stopped them on their tracks because they have the funds, they had the resources, and they didn't allow them to do something like this to a supplement that can be found in nature. Their second victim is NMN. And what's going on with NMN is that the players in the market, they're around 20, are not as big as Now, even though Now is trying to help. We formed an allegiance called the Natural Product Association, where we're trying to fight against this big pharma overreach. But what has been going on is that it started with all the 20 members, then 10, then 5. Now it's like 2 people that join the meetings. Nobody wants to foot the bill because it's like a multi-million-dollar bill. They're all fairly small companies. So what would happen is that if they do this to NMN, something that's naturally occurring, that can be found in nature, what stops them from doing it to vitamin D?
Yeah.
What stops them from doing it to everything that consumers like, everything that consumers use on the daily basis? They're just monopolize it, put it behind the big pharma paywall, Now you need to get a prescription, ramp up the prices. Now you can't go live off grid. You can't be independent because you're dependent on this insurance just to get your daily necessities.
Yeah.
So that's what's at risk here.
And it just seems it just seems so, sinister, and, just the
Yeah,
way big pharma wants us so dependent on it. It just it reminds me, of, C.S. Lewis once said, "The genius of the modern world is to convince the masses that they're the most free when they give the technocrats, when they give these so-called experts the most power." So
right.
our freedom is actually inextricably linked with giving more and more power to these government agencies. The cash assistance for food, food stamp card in Maryland
Hmm.
is actually called the Independence card.
Mm,
I mean, let that hit you, right? I mean, it's just like, talk about Orwellian.
right.
Do you see sort of I love how you talk about it, the sort of the natural health industry. Do you see that as sort of a parallel economy that's sort of rising up that represents in many ways an emancipation from this this big pharma regulated world?
Yeah, it's definitely a hedge against this bureaucracy. So if for example, there's big pharma and then there's supplement brands. Supplement brands allow the free market to dictate which supplements people like, which other supplements people don't like. Whereas big pharma, they say, okay, we're gonna prescribe you this and you need to buy this, and all the doctors are in their payroll. They
Right.
decide what you take, they decide what you don't take. So going the supplement route is a more self-directed, a more free way of taking care of your health. Whereas the other, okay, you need to take this vaccine, you need to take
Right.
this asthma medication, you need to take this for your cholesterol, and they pick and choose whatever they want to give you.
Right. Right. Wow. That's a great one. One is more, one is more informed consent, community driven and the like. And the other one is just, this sort of standardized one size fits all kind of structure. Give I mean, I love NMN. I featured in a lot of our videos. I mean, just give us a little bit of a summary of, I mean, you already did a really nice sort of intro to NMN, but why would taking NMN be important for our listeners?
Aside from what I've mentioned of it regenerating the cells, as you know, it gives you energy almost instantly.
Yeah.
It's a supplement that you can feel. It's one of the few supplements that you don't have to wait 2 weeks in
Right.
order to start feeling an effect.
Right.
Obviously, supporting companies like ours that have an MN and that are actively fighting against the FDA is
Yeah.
sort of voting with your dollar.
Yes.
Vote for people that align with your values. Vote for people that care about your health choices. Vote for people that care about your health, and in that way, you're not only voting for politicians that stand with you, but you're voting for companies that stand with you. And
Right.
because we live in a free market, if enough people vote for the right companies with their dollars, then the world would be shaped in a way that's more to your liking, I would say.
I love it. So well said. I mean, bottom line, gang, a healthy country is harder to control. And the
Right.
government knows that, right? So get your health in order today. Taking NMN and supporting real patriots in the parallel economy is a tangible way that you and I can fight against the corrupt practices of the FDA and woke pharmaceutical companies. Click on that link below. Take advantage of this wonderful offer. Buy a bottle of NMN and get one free when you purchase one in the next 48 hours. You're going to love it. I enjoy it. And I know you will too. Antonio, thank you so much for being with us. Please come back again.
Steve, thank you for so much for having me. Love the conversation. And guys, vote with your dollar, not only politicians, as I said, vote for companies that stand with you and that care about your health. They don't want to put you behind a prescription paywall and charge you tens of thousands of dollars.
That's for sure.
We're just here to help.
Amen to that. Thank you, Antonio.
No, thank you, Steve. I appreciate it.